What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are ready. We had a little bit of a wild, kind of a nothing burger day yesterday, but a lot happened yesterday in a weird way. And then we're getting a little bit of aftermath. My trading view is going slow today, though. Not again. Let me refresh this real quick. Maybe that's the issue. Reload. I see you guys piloting. Some of you guys finally. Joe's got the link today. Okay, good. All right. Now I'm happy. Let's see. I know Win said he was having some issues, but I think for the most part we're getting it. And that refresh did absolutely nothing in terms of speeding up my my trading view today. So that's going a little slower and dragging, but that's okay. So yeah, we'll see. We got a little bit of a gap down. We do have a retest gap from yesterday. I did buy some puts. I've been saying I'm like I kind of want to get some puts. We've had we had a 3-day biggest rally we've had all year, starting from back here on what was this Friday, Thursday. So we went from 499, slightly under 499 to all the way up to 518, just above 518 yesterday. So this is the biggest rally we've had all year long so far. What does that tell me? Well, not much yet, right? Obviously real bullish into this move. Probably get some kind of a pullback. I'm a little bit mad at myself, just a little bit mad. If TradingView wants to speed up, that'd be terrific. But we'll deal with the cards we're dealt. Wow, this is like crazy slow. So I had this is like insane slow. Oh, No, this is too slow. Hold on 1 second. Let me see. I'm gonna pull up a brand new trading view window. Hold on 1 second. Let's see if we could make this switch. I'm trying to drag some things around. I'm like, that's gonna take 30 minutes just to move my chart. So that's no good. Let's see. Trading view. Let's see if it wants to work a little quicker now. New share. All right. Come on, you. So far, much quicker. So far, we just need a new. Oh, there we go. Now it moves with ease. All right, that's way better. But yeah, so I was first of all, I was looking at like, okay, where can this market go? Obviously, we've done nothing but just rally straight up. And I know there's a lot of resistance up in the zone. So I was like, okay, if we could get up there somewhere, that might be a spot to start looking. The very top of this candle, the very high of yesterday was pretty much a straight push into that last little untested VPOC. So I'm like, okay, if this market wants to kind of come down a little bit, that would be the spot. And then this is where I got mad at myself. So I still got some puts in. I also got some time on them. So I got to like mid-July. I don't know if it was the July 19th or 21st, somewhere around that date. I think the 19th maybe. So I got a little bit of time on those, but then I was looking at the candles. I was like, man, uh you gave me a good little kind of just one more pop. We started to get this volume in this last candle breakout. That started to get taken out. So where I ended up getting puts after here because this rally was kind of crazy. I think it was maybe a 15-minute chart, something like that. One of these was like a big reversal type hammer. 5 maybe. Oh yeah, 5 on the SPY. That's what I was looking at. Yeah, there you go. You had at the peak, you had good candle breakout with some volume, nice little push up higher, indecision, bull trap, reversal hammer, and then we just fell through. So unfortunately, I didn't catch that because I walked away from the computer. I came back and I'm like, yeah, that's where I would have liked to have it. But again, like we said before, we'll just deal with the cards we dealt with. So, you get to go. Yeah, King, I believe so. So then we just kind of bled off a little bit. We closed essentially where I got those puts. And again, I gave it some time on those puts because obviously the market doesn't go straight up, straight down. But I'm telling you this because this is how I'm looking to probably trade today. And I will sell those puts and I will gladly sell those puts at a loss if we start to break out of this candle. So this is the main candle I'm watching kind of going forward. If we start breaking the highs of yesterday, then I'm going to get rid of those puts. I'll say, okay, cool. We got at least a little bit more room up higher. But for now, today we are gapping down. We've had a ton of earnings coming out. The other thing I was thinking about is we don't really have too much more news lined up for this month. We got a couple of reports. We got some things that could save us. Again, I don't know. Obviously, I wish I could tell you the future, but we said there was two possible scenarios that I was looking for. Right, we were looking for either, and we called this one pretty perfectly. Right, we're like, okay, that should be the bottom. That should be where we hold. But the two scenarios we had were something like this or something like this. All right, so let's go through sentiment real quick. Right, obviously, both of these could still happen. None of those has actually happened yet. But if this scenario is going to play out, okay, well, I'm going to want some kind of puts around here. And again, we could chop around a little bit. Today actually could be a mini little green day just in a retest. So all that could happen. That's why I wanted to give it a little bit more time just in case we get the rollover. But trading comes down to risk to reward, right? And if the bulls just nonstop went bullish, 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 this right here is a decent looking sell-off. Right? There's going to be a spot where, okay, well, we gave back a lot of gains during that. I mean, it was like 3 weeks ago, so it's pretty far out. I don't know if we could remember back then, but okay, we were giving back a lot of gains in that spot. So for us to get up here, bullish, we'd have to be really, really bullish. We need some kind of news, some kind of hopium, some kind of something for us to sink our teeth onto, just to be like, okay, we're definitely going higher. I can't think of what is coming out. Obviously, the entire market is moving on hopes. We got hopes that we get some rate cuts. We got a lot from Jerome Powell the other day, right? So we got a lot from him saying, "Yeah, well, we're probably we're still looking for the rate cuts. We know we're not raising rates as long as the data tells us we're not going to raise them. We'll be fine with that." Okay, so that's out of the question. So we know we're getting eventually get some rate cuts. And all of this move was on the hope that we get the rate cuts. So now I'm like, okay, I don't know what the next leg is. What is the next thing in the market? And maybe it's Nvidia earnings coming out in a couple of weeks. Maybe that saves us again. There's potential. We had talks of ceasefire in the Middle East. So okay, maybe that's kind of already out. I'm trying to figure out what the next big thing that the market could get some hopium of, like, we're going through this all-time highs and we're going to get there. And I just can't find it yet. So not saying that the market is going bearish, that we're selling off. I'm not saying any of that, but I want to protect myself because the main purpose of all of the main real purpose of puts, calls, it's built for insurance purpose. So I have a good long-term portfolio. I want some kind of protection just in case this is a scenario. And so I got quite a few puts on the table. We'll see what happens. We'll probably get a little resistance down to this 510. So I might sell a couple here. Would be the plan. I might look to sell a couple more here. And then if we break through, I mean, I think at that point we probably run to like 475. So we'll see. But I'm going to hold them until we start breaking out. I'm using yesterday's high as kind of my rotation point just to see if we could get any type of if we do get a little bit of resistance on that one. Several folks still having issues getting into the room. I did not get an email. All right, let me do one thing. Copy link. not get into the room. Thing today. All right, I just shared the link. Lucian, Win, Jason. I was trying to ban those guys anyway. I was trying to cut. No, so I just shared the link, so we'll see if they can find their way in. Yeah, I blocked them. That's why they can't get in. But we'll see what happens on this one. But I am looking for a little bit of a little bit big pivot on the spot to come in. Let's take a look real quick at the Qs as well. The Qs, same little thing. So again, the Qs were a little bit stronger. They kind of just, I guess we had a little bit of retest from over here. I would say that's a little insignificant. I don't like it as much. I would have liked this rotation better, somewhere around 443. Nonetheless, we do have a little indecision. And again, wave count wise, this is probably. I want to move this pen thing too on my screen, but I don't know how. Ah, there we go. Now I got it figured out. There we go. That's much easier. Wave count wise, this could have been the previous kind of 4 or 5. This is maybe a 1, 2. This could be 3. We could get something like this. And then I think there might be still one more shot somewhere as we're just kind of still in this upper trend, at least recent. The question is if we break it. Well, we've already retested down in this zone before. So that's going to be a little bit weaker. And then we do have a potential for a bigger sell off if that wants to come. And a lot of the, even on the earnings, we'll get through some of the earnings today too, but a lot of the earnings that we have, most of those companies have been guiding down. So they're all kind of coming out with, and we talked about that a little bit yesterday, but they could be looking to sandbag for the next quarter. So this is where they have a monster beat. They do it all the time. All right. So that wouldn't shock me, but we still got another quarter until they report. So how does that put us? And then you got the famous sell and may go away scenario. Bonds are down 2 today, so a little bit of a gap down. Still kind of just more of a retest into that zone. So we'll see what happens if we want to blow through that or not. Let me see if some of your tickers that you guys put out. If you guys have any other tickers, let me know. Clarice says, good morning. And then like the lowercase g and everything else was capital. So no, that was, no, you're screaming about that. I like that though. That's enthusiasm for a good morning. I like it. Anna says, good morning. Could you please post a link on Slack? Still not able. Yep. So I got that in there. So you should be able to hop in, Anna. Larkus says CLSK. Clean Spark Energy. So this is a little bit of a gap down. Earnings tonight. All right. So we got earnings coming in tonight. Was there news as well? Clean Spark appoints Taylor. So they got a new CTO. Keep in mind, earnings do come out tonight as well. This is a little bit of a retest gap, and it is at some kind of support. So watch this level where we're opening now. Essentially right around 1590. I'd even go 1588. This is a retest gap. Most likely, I think this one probably chops around, I think, today. But wouldn't mind trying to play a fade higher on this one because the new CTO doesn't really matter. And then you might have a little anticipation from some of the earnings. But anything past this 1588, if we start dropping past that, we could see 1446. I don't know if we have that big of a move ahead of earnings, but that's where I would be targeting if earnings were off the table. Maybe a big support somewhere around 1487. Probably I would try to be out at that point, but we do have earnings coming out. We got Tesla. Yeah, Tesla's got a couple of investigations going on. Tesla. Not good. Not good. Yeah, there was some kind of investigation into, I don't even know what it was into. Let me see if I can find it. Prosecutors, what is that? Prosecutors focus on securities, wire fraud in Tesla autopilot probe. Uh-oh. Yeah, it's probably the last thing they need right now. I'll safely take a stab and say they were kind of hoping on some good news. Again, Earnings were not great. Right. So you don't have good earnings. You had a good run up from Elon Musk coming out and just kind of rallying everybody up. Fundamentals aren't really matching. They've already had a tough year, and now you're going to throw some securities issues. You got some anytime you got the word prosecutor involved, that means they're prosecuting something. That's not good. Um, it is a retest gap. So we got a little bit of a retest gap here at support. This might be a spot for a fade, but watch that spot very, very closely. I think if we start to get under 170, this also, by the way, if this does not close this gap today, that looks like a little island reversal. I think we probably out of the gate we make some kind of bullish pop. The question is, do we actually close this gap? If we don't, that island reversal is not going to be good. We are closing that first little gap here down at this little support, so 170.83 ish. If we start to break, I think my next target 163.34. That's been a spot we got some kind of bounce, and then if we break this again, sure we could get held up at this 145.50, but I don't know if we have Elon Musk to save us when we're down there again. Like this should be the attempted, like, okay, we got past that big major kind of support or resistance at that point. We really, really need to hold this one for support. Otherwise, Tesla probably comes down a little bit further. And we have, like I said, we have about 3 months until we hear from Elon Musk, unless he, tweets something or put something out on X, or you guys call it tweeting still? Xing? Xing doesn't sound like that sounds like it should be not PG. I don't know, but I don't know what to call it anymore. But yeah, they're gonna need something, but that's not a good story for them. And I think you have some of the hopeful bulls a little bit trapped on that one, and maybe starting to get a little discouraged. We'll see. But we got AMD. AMD. So this one's also gapping down a little bit. It is a retest gap from yesterday, and probably most of these things will be. What I don't like on AMD, like I don't know how much of a retest we get here because you are underneath the opening price from Monday. I don't know. And then you got 150.66 is probably the target. If we start to break that, we do have untested VPOC around 145.95. That should be a strong one. You do have the 200 right below you as well. But a little bit Chopzilla, but I would put that one a little bit more bearish than I would bullish. Coin, we did try yesterday. We almost got the breakout we were looking for, and then it popped back. So small loss on that one. But we did have Bitcoin, I believe, is down as well today. Not really a great open for coin. I would have liked to see 210.23 hold. I would have liked to see 211.69 hold. So we're below both of those. We have a little bit of support in here. The problem with that support is we've already used that as support, and the bears are still clobbering it right back down. So maybe we get a little hope at 205.27, maybe a little bit of hope slightly lower, 204.69. And then for today, 198.85, I think would be an interesting, like, deep sell type situation, overextended targets. You got the 100 kind of coming in, but I don't know how strong that support is anymore. Not only that, but you did put in lower highs too. So I would think that we do have a little bit more room to the downside on Coinbase. The next real kind of spot, 193.01. Maybe we get down to 187, and then I wouldn't put this out of the question longer term too. So this would be 165.29. So we could have a little bit of room to the downside. Right now we're still in Chopville trading sideways, but just the sentiment inside that Chopville is not the strongest for right now. We got pins. Pin interests. This one's still a little bit more leaning to the bullish than the bear side. Again, if the entire market is kind of coming back, and that's going to put weight on everything. I don't have really, I mean, this is a bearish gap and go. Out of all of them, this might be one of the harder ones to go bearish on if you wanted to. I do have resistance at 41.84, so if you're going to try, probably somewhere around that zone. And then probably a really good support, $40.73. But until we get something, I don't really have a candle really that tells me that we're like really actually going to sell off yet. But shorts I think would be a little tough. Long is probably still the direction. I just don't know if I want to do it today for pins. Did they have news? That's 2 days ago. International revenue performance explored. Thought I said exploded at one point. I was like, uh-oh. Google the Googs. Same thing. I mean, nothing too crazy. You actually have a little bit better risk reward to the bearer side. Um, really nice day yesterday in terms of just absolutely rammed. The problem with where this thing ran to, that was right into that previous resistance. And we got rejected. I do have support, 167.03. We still have this unfilled gap down here, 156. You got some support down here. I'm going with the lower numbers, but 158.16. And again, some support in this range. However, if you do think the market pulls back and you're like, okay, we're probably in for a deeper sell off, I would assume throwing a stop above here. So throwing a stop up here. And then if you get some kind of a rally, especially into that previous VPOC, which would take me to kind of retesting that 170.74-ish. You get good risk to reward on this trade. And then again, if you do also want to go a little higher with that too. So let's change that trade around. Let's say you want to throw your stop up here. Entry somewhere here. So entry here to the bear side. Get your stop up here. You have a much better shot of not losing a full R, so you can move your stops down if the trade starts to kind of go in your direction. But most likely, I think you probably get held up here. And then from there, it depends on what the rest of the market's doing. But you're probably going to get at least a mini bounce into the zone. And then if we put in the lower highs or higher highs from that point. But I think you do have really good risk to reward to the bear side. Doesn't mean it's going to work. Still Google, still hanging out, still kind of playing off that gap and go. But this is definitely a spot to keep an eye on. I'm going to put Google up a little higher on the lists. Probably more of a little bit longer term move as we are in Chopzilla. But if we do get bought up, I would be interested in shorting around this 170.66 for a day trade today. All right, we got Uber, we got Bob, we got the whole list. Yeah, the whole market's moving today. Baba. Oh, Baba. This is Baba real quick. That's Uber. Okay, Uber had earnings. I was like, how Baba get back to 64 already? That's crazy. All right, so they missed earnings per share by 54 cents. That's 245% lower than expected. They did beat on the revenue side of things. And I think Lyft actually had a really good quarter. I think Lyft did sell off, I think. I don't think they held their gains. But so I think there's a little bit more people shocked on the Uber drop, I would assume. Again, retest gap from yesterday. You're clearing through some pivots. This one I think is day tradable. I would assume that most likely we fade higher out of the gate. Just based on the size of the gap, and it is a retest. I don't know how big that retest is going to be. I don't think we get up to I would be shocked if we get back to 70 today. But maybe a little retest into 66.36 potentially. Otherwise, we do have to get past the 65.84 first. That's going to be a decent little resistance. So, back to that SPY chart that we were talking about right at the beginning. I think my plan today is to fade any rips. I think there's a little bit more worry and concern in the market. This would be one to watch for that, I think. Baba. Baba's gapping down right below the 200. This one's also got some room to the downside too. We're holding a little bit of support at open. Again, it is a retest gap. We're also opening right at the kind of opening price, at least for now. We got 2 minutes to the bell, but we got the opening price at from Thursday. We're sitting there. So see if we get a little bounce into here, maybe into the 278.22. And then I do think target 76.49, and then probably looking for like 75.86. So we'll see if that one wants to pan out. I think they hate Eli. Yeah. They like to mess with him, I think, but you know, he's resilient like the banking system. Lyft, I got a whole ton of things. Lyft actually did hold up. I thought Lyft came down. So you got Uber's competition doing good. Oh, I think it did come down from, yeah, it came down from where it's at. But this is a gap and go. We do have some resistance. If we could break out of probably 1750, then the next target on this one probably would take me up to about 1841. But that is a gap and go. It looks a little bit different than the rest of the market. And again, the earnings were actually decent on Lyft. And then you got their competition getting slammed today. So not great there. We got Win. Win did have good earnings. So Win had good earnings. They beat 63 million to the upside, 29 cents earnings per share. Watch out for some resistance coming in, 98.86. This is also a gap and go. But yeah, if we're going to play something bullish, and maybe if the market does want to fade it open, some of these gap and goes might run a little bit more than I think they would, but I'm looking for that 98.92, which doesn't give me much room. Maybe we get to 99.51. If we could get past that, then I got 101. That would be a really, really good trade, but we'll see. Yeah, we got a couple other ones. Shopify reported this morning they might as well have just not done anything. In fact, I don't think they did much, but nice little gap down here. Again, pretty large gap at some kind of support. Not really. Let's see if this one comes down a little bit further. So if you're looking for a bounce on this one, I'd be waiting for about 62.48, maybe down to like the 60 range. If you're looking for a bounce. But everybody on YouTube, I appreciate you joining us each and every day, even through the website transitions, and you guys are incredible. But unfortunately,